Hello, today I am going to be showing you how to use EnRoute software to cut out a Moorhead Spuds fire pit. So we are using the Shop Saber CNC plasma cutter, and this is our desktop for our programs. We're going to choose EnRoute software right down here in the bottom of our taskbar. Click on that once and it should open up EnRoute software. After it opens up, we are going to pull or make a new document, and our size of our plasma table is 48 inches by 48 inches, and we'll be cutting this out of 0.125, which is 1/8 inch thick steel. So we're just going to click OK. And here is the sheet of steel that we are going to be cutting. Now, I have already made all of the different parts to this fire pit. The only thing I haven't done is I haven't put it together to make the actual Spuds fire pit yet. So I'm going to go ahead and open up some of my previous files that I've already made, and I'm going to look up fire pit. So fire pit master right here. So if I click fire pit master, again I'm just opening that up. That comes up with the 3 different parts that we need for our fire pit. We have 4 sides that are this shape, 4 bottom pieces for the legs, and then we have 1 bottom piece right there. I am just going to copy, so I highlight all of those. I'm going to hit Control C for copy. I'm going to close this because I don't want to mess up this file since this is the template. And I'm going to paste those into my document or my new sheet that I am making. I'm going to drag these up to the top so they're out of the way. And then I'm going to need to add an M to the side, and I'm going to have to add Spuds to the side for the bottom piece as well. So again, I'm going to open up files that I've already made. One of them is the M offset line cut path. So I'm going to open that, and I'm going to copy this as well. Highlight it all. Control C for copy. Close it. And I'm going to paste it. Control V. Now obviously this is way too big, so I'm going to hold Shift as I click and drag, and that is going to bring it down. No matter what I do with my mouse, it is going to scale it correctly and not skew it. If I just grab one of the sides or the corners, right, I can make it tall and skinny, which I don't want to do. I'm going to hit Control Z to undo it. Anyway, so I need to make it to the correct size. I'm going to bring this up and over, see how it fits. Make it a little bit smaller. Now to zoom in, I'm just going to scroll forward with the mouse, and then I can see what I'm doing here. So this already has cut paths on it. I'm actually going to delete those real quick. Delete the tool paths. So this is the M. Now you'll notice that the outside right here is highlighted in blue, whereas all of the inside is highlighted in pink. When something is highlighted in pink, or when there's a pink line, that means that it is not a complete shape. It is not going to cut anything out. So I want the whole outside of the fire pit to get cut. That would make sense. But I don't want the whole M to drop out, which is why all of these are individual little segments. So I just want this to be outlined, right? So this is going to be roughly a line thickness, so about maybe 10/1000ths of an inch or so, which is roughly 1/100th of an inch, or maybe close to a 1/16th of an inch tops in terms of width. And this will now be just a kind of a see-through M. Again, like I said, I don't want the whole M to fall out, because then embers and stuff like that will fall out of my fire pit, which I certainly do not want. And I don't think other people want that on their fire pit either. So each of these corners are open, so that way the metal continues and it's never truly disconnected. So I need to make a cut path for all this, and I think this is pretty well centered just looking at it. I'm going to highlight this and just move it to the left just a tiny bit. Just like that. And I want to take a look at that gap right there and that gap right there, and they look pretty close. Now I'm going to make my cut path for the outside. So I'm going to go to Tool Path, kerf compensation. Kerf is the material that gets removed by the plasma cutter. The kerf width, it's supposed to be about 5/100ths of an inch, but it's actually a little bit more than that. This is an external cut, which means that the cut is going to take place on the outside of the line, and then the edge of the kerf will be where the line actually is. I need an exit and entry type right here, so that way when the machine starts and when it finishes, it doesn't end up cutting into the plate. So I'm going to have a line that's about 18 degrees from the actual line where it starts cutting, and the length is going to be a little bit, we'll go about 0.3, so 0.3 of an inch. Again, it's going to be an external cut, and I'm going to click OK, and you will see that the cut path, I'm going to zoom in here. This is the cut path right here, this blue line. This is the line that I want to hold. So this is the size of the fire pit plate that I want to hold. So again, this is the cut path. It's going to pierce through right here. It's going to cut in, travel along the blue line all the way along the outside, go all the way around, and then it's going to come back, and then it's going to exit right there. And that little tiny overlap that you've got there might have a tiny, little tiny space on the top that's going to be kind of goofy, but I can fix that by changing where my exit and entry are. So I'm going to click this, and I'm going to go to machining, or excuse me, toolpath, and edit the entry/exit. So when I click on that, I can grab this and I can move it, okay? And I'm actually going to move it down to this corner over here. And the reason I'm going to move it to the corner is pretty simple. This is going to get covered up with weld, right? So this is going to be the bottom corner, and there's going to be a really easy, simple base plate right here, and then obviously these are going to get connected on the side, so it's going to make a much nicer cut. Now for the inside of the M, I'm going to highlight this, and I am going to go to toolpath, and this has to be an offset open contour. Since it's not actually cutting out a shape, it's just cutting lines, it has to be an open contour, which is indicated by all of the pink. So I'm going to double click the kerf right there, and I am going to go to a depth. It doesn't really matter what the depth is, but I want it to be in the middle of that line. A lot of people like it to be on the outside or the inside of the line, or to the left or to the right of the line, but I want it to be right on that line. So I'm going to click OK, and now you can see the pierce points, which are the green lines right there, or the green little crosshairs. That's where it is going to pierce in. So it's going to pierce here, it's going to travel along, travel, 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 off. Lift, pierce, travel, 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 turn, turn, and done. And it's going to go through that for the entire M.